In cross-functional teams, it's really important that every person in the room picks up the idea from their coworkers, from each one of the people involved in a project, understanding what are the requirements and also what are those specifications that I need in order to start my side of the job. So it is important that we understand all these things. It's important that we know the vocabulary, the slang behind this. In today's lesson, I also want to not only give you an insight on these little words here and there, but I'm also going to give you a full grammar class on how you should address a typical retrospective meeting. The retrospective meetings, as people who work in devs teams know, it's a moment that it's really critical because it's a moment for taking control over, what the process is looking like on a specific sprint. If we have actually done things in the right way, or we actually need to see some of the things that we did wrong maybe in the process and take those things in consideration in order to move on to the next sprint of work. Now, in this processes, in this iterative processes, there's a lot of things that when we are reflecting over what we did, sometimes if I don't have the right knowledge in English, probably I'm going to use a grammar that doesn't leave very clear whether I have finished something, whether I haven't finished it, or if I think that I should do something different. All those things, they do have a specific grammar in English. For dev teams that want to go on a retrospective meeting and they want to address the topics in a very narrow and specific way, they have to use modal verbs of cause. Okay, so what do we call modal verbs of cause? Modal verbs of cause, guys, are those expressions that we use when we are like reflecting over what we did in the past. So I may say something like, we should have, for example, we should have flagged that bug earlier in staging. So or we could have. These are what we call models of cause. Should have, could have, may have, might have. All those things involve reflecting over what happened and thinking about what we should have done better when you use should, but you're talking about possibility when you use could. So we could have, if I say that we could have asked for the specs earlier, what I'm trying to say is that it was our chance to do that. We had the possibility to do that. So it is not by chance that in English we use models of cause for a retrospective meeting. It's because it's the perfect moment to do that. Reflect over what you did. Did you do it wrong? Also, maybe we should have flagged that bug earlier in staging. So I didn't do it, so it means that now I know that that was the best. That's what happens in a real life retro. I think about what I did and how can I improve that for the next sprint. If I consider the possibilities, it's because I'm opening up to other options, like saying that we could have asked for the specs earlier. So, meaning that I knew that I had to get the specifications and I didn't ask for them before, but it would have been great for the team, right? So, we also use these other expressions like I might have done this or I may have done that. And that is like considering what I think that happened. For example, we may have slipped on the unit tests. And if I say we may have slipped on the unit tests, I'm trying to say that I knew that this should have been done. And I recognize it's very possible that we didn't do that right. We may have slipped on the unit tests. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not entirely sure if it was my fault, but I know that it would have been so much better if I did it that way. probably we made a mistake. I'm acknowledging that we probably made a mistake. Now, when I use might, I might have to rework the layout. When I say might, it's my opinion. I might have to do this. If I'm the designer and I'm thinking, well, it's very possible that if I don't have the API specs now, I'm gonna have to rework the entire thing, the entire prototype, and probably that's going to involve having to do all the work again or most of the work again. So I am considering that I might have to do things in this way. It's very possible, in my opinion, based on my experience. All of this is key if you are working in these teams, that you deliver the right vocabulary. So, delivering the right vocabulary, delivering the right grammar for a meeting that it's no longer than a couple of minutes for a team, meaning that it's valuable that you choose your words correctly and assertively. So choosing that, your grammar, how you're going to express the ideas, what grammar you're going to bring up to the table, as well as the specific vocabulary given, makes your ideas convey in a much easier and clearer way for the rest of the entire team. If I try to pick up other words to say the same thing, I'm probably going to be rolling around in circles in order to say the same thing, but longer or less specific. So that's why it's so important that we know these things when we are working with cross functional teams.